Things I Never Told My Doctor, Part 8 by John P. Gallagher. Chapter 14 My Nonprofit Work. I spent most of my spare time volunteering for Prevail for 5 years and concurrently for a few years with the Wisconsin Consumer Survival Work Group. During the same time, I served on the State of Wisconsin Community Options Program Advisory Board as a consumer representative. I left Prevail to start a nonprofit, Cordial Unlimited. Prevail. My psychiatrist suggested I try out a support group so I could meet people with whom I had things in common. I went to a few meetings. After one meeting, this lady, who introduced herself as Betty Blaska, asked me if I wanted a job as a bookkeeper. I mentioned during the meeting that I had bookkeeping skills. She invited me to a meeting to discuss starting a nonprofit business. The meeting date came. We discussed getting state funds to produce a grassroots newsletter and educational awareness activities about mental health. At the meeting, we decided a name for the nonprofit, Prevail, which is an acronym. We discussed what each letter represented: psychiatric reform through education, visionary action, and intense lobbying. After the meeting, Betty filed the incorporation papers. A few months later, she called to say Prevail had been given a grant. I would need to go to Milwaukee to find out how to report the budget papers monthly to the State of Wisconsin Bureau of Community Mental Health. Reporting is required to receive the funds on an ongoing basis. She said someone from the Bureau would give me a ride to Milwaukee. My ride was Chris Hendrickson. We got acquainted during the 2-hour ride. Chris told me Prevail was granted less than what was originally asked for. I learned the procedures for paperwork reporting. A few days later, Betty called me and asked, "What did you say to Chris?" She told me that Prevail was granted the full amount since funds became available from another grantee who did not use all their funds. Betty called to tell me I could get a free computer from the state. She said they upgrade their computers and give away the old ones to nonprofit groups that can use them. I did not get a printer though, so Prevail paid for me to get an inexpensive dot matrix. I used the computer to figure out things that I had learned in school years ago. I got the computer set up, figured out what I need to do to print out letters, set up forms, and other things like mailing lists and business cards. During my work with Prevail, office supply or printing needs would come up. I'd have to figure out the budget to include the cost. I'd have to submit the budget to the Bureau. Sometimes I'd have to replace the budget with a new one. I talked to Betty about changes in the budget. Over time, Prevail was taking in donations from newsletter subscriptions and eventually had a book for sale. It was my job to process the mail, deposit checks, and record all transactions. I kept track of grant money and non-grant money. We would spend non-grant money however we wanted. We would process book orders and any other correspondence. No, I would process book orders and any other correspondence. Prevail would drop addresses of no subscription and add new addresses. Subscriptions were donations which we could spend however we wanted without getting Bureau approval. Prevail would send thank you items to donors. Some subscriptions were repeated yearly. There was a sliding scale suggested for provider, organization, consumer, or family member. The day-to-day functioning of Prevail involved my calling Betty about 3 times a day. I'd ask her what she thought about something if I had a question or needed her opinion or her approval. She got tired of all calls coming 3 times a day and said I should not call her. She could not take it anymore. She asked that I call once a day, so I changed it to that. Once I stayed up until 4 a.m., working on the computer, deleting files of programs I did not need that were on the computer from the previous owner. I really had a fun time with that. I sometimes went to conferences with Betty. Some were local state conferences, some were national, which meant trying to get a scholarship for conference expenses to be paid by the state. Sometimes Prevail money was budgeted. Sometimes the conference organizers offered a limited number of scholarships. The recipient had to promise to write an article about the conference. There was one national conference for which Betty and I obtained a scholarship, but we could not both called because we were both in the psychiatric ward. Prevail or scholarship money would pay for most meals, hotel rooms, and transportation. I had to pay for some expenses out of my pocket and got reimbursed, which is when the credit cards came in handy. There was one time I was headed toward a credit card crunch, so I had to put in for an early reimbursement request to the state. I had to go into their office and sign a special request form. Otherwise, I would have had to wait another month, which would have meant a late penalty on my credit card, which would substantially increase my lending rate. Wisconsin Mental Health Consumer Survival Work Group. Beth and I were invited to a meeting of all the leaders of nonprofit organizations from the state of Wisconsin who were receiving state grant funding. There were about 12 people at the meeting, including Chris Hendrickson, the official from the Bureau. The meetings became regular, meeting one weekend every 3 months. The group eventually formed into a nonprofit called the Wisconsin Mental Health Consumer Survival Work Group, went by the nickname the Work Group. Sometimes the director of the Bureau would also come to the meeting. All grantees had to provide paperwork to the Bureau. Most work group members became friends, since we got reimbursed for long distance calls to each other by itemizing our phone bills with our reimbursements expense vouchers. There was a woman named Tracy Balt who was at the meeting since she was actively involved on the Governor's Blue Ribbon Commission that was designing the blueprint for Wisconsin's managed care program. She needed to take the pulse of the meetings. At the meetings, everybody faced the center of the room, sitting at tables that formed a large square. Some discussion was the state asking if there were any problems that any of us may have become aware of. We decided to tape large sheets of white postal-sized paper on the walls. The meeting facilitator started writing on the paper as everybody took turns saying what was of concern. We were then asked to rate the problems with stars in order of greatest importance. After a couple meetings, I was assigned as the administrative treasurer of the work group. It became my job to receive all reimbursement vouchers for all attendees of the meetings. The checks are paid through Prevail's checking account. I total all reimbursements paid and get an okay from Chris Henderson before writing the checks. The National Alliance for the Mentally Ill of Wisconsin, or NAMI of Wisconsin, was a statewide organization that could handle large funds for the state. The state could not actually handle the money. This state organization would give me a check to deposit into Bill's bank account. Then I would distribute the payments. The funding provided for the work group came from a large statewide grant. Came from a federal grant for a statewide consumer-run organization. The attendees of the meetings were also paid an honorarium for the attendance at the meetings. I got paid an honorarium for being the administrative assistant of the work group. My honorarium was also for my representing consumers on the Community Options Program Board. The grant had a budget item for a Wisconsin statewide mental health resource guide. Tracy volunteered to do the work of information gathering and layout of the resource guide. The big budget item was for a state consumer conference for Wisconsin mental health consumers. I was involved with 3 other people to plan this 3-day conference. It was part of my job to monitor conference activities to make sure everything went smoothly. The work also had conference money to attend Alternatives, a national mental health conference. That year, the Alternatives Conference was being held in Minnesota, which meant little travel expense since it was nearby. The whole work group got to go. Community Options Program, or COP. I influenced a major positive change for the mental health consumers of Wisconsin. Tracy had informed me of pending legislation that would eliminate every Wisconsin Social Security disability recipient's entire state Wisconsin portion of their disability check. Some people would still get the federal portion since they had worked enough to get that money. This would mean many people would no longer qualify to get medical assistance. They would not be getting any of their check that qualified them for the medical assistance. This prompted me to write a letter to the governor. I stated that I was a consumer representative actively involved on state boards. I wrote what adverse effects this pending legislation would have on Wisconsinites. I pointed out that the reason these people get medical assistance is that at some point in their life they have been medically determined to be disabled. They are either homicidal or suicidal, which lands them in the psychiatric ward to start on medications which they need to keep from becoming homicidal or suicidal again. At the next COP state board meeting, after I wrote the letter to the governor, two officials from the Joint Finance Committee came to our meeting. They started the meeting by telling us about the pending decision to discontinue the state of Wisconsin portion of being unaware that these people would lose their medical assistance. They decided to grandfather all these people in so they would continue to receive the state of Wisconsin portion of their disability check and continue their medical assistance. The number of people was 1,700. I became good friends with Tracy. Cordial Limited. Tracy was eager to work with me to start and run a nonprofit. We had to think of a few names before I went to the business name registration office. Cordial was taken. I was prepared for that, so I added Unlimited to make it unique. At the statewide consumer conference, Tracy and I did a stress workshop to get a feel for people's reception of the work we were planning for our stress kit workbook. We were going to use this information to justify a grant to produce the book. I also did a workshop on Social Security disability programs. We were planning on a book getting access to financial benefits. The work with Bill was getting to be old news and tiresome after 5 years. I felt obligated to do all the other work that the state I was involved with, but decided to withdraw from those parts of my work when I left Prevail. I was approaching burnout, which is common for some people during doing this type of work. I decided I wanted more that I can control and for what I get paid more. I wanted to create and have my own thing. I still have time for other activities. I've been talking to Trace about starting a nonprofit for quite some time. She told me that together we would be able to do it. We brainstormed for months on topics of books we could write. We decided on 4 books. Tracy convinced me that we could get grant funding and would have a successful number of sales, while meeting the needs of mental health consumers and their families, as well as educating professionals. Tracy wrote the grant proposals to get us funded with my input into the budget. She helped me with the nonprofit staff's paperwork with the Internal Revenue Service, which we're required to have to receive grant funding. Cordial Limited got funded to write 4 books on mental health topics of concern to mental health consumers, the families, and providers of services. The main purpose of the books was to reduce the burden on society by educating. Over years of involvement in advocating for mental health consumers, we discovered that mental health consumers were not as informed as they could be. The books are written in easy to understand terms, translated from the legal and legislative terms. We received funding for 3 years, which paid for everything we needed, including an office space. We shared with another nonprofit organization, MC Video, who received grant funding from the state of Wisconsin as well. I already knew of Tracy's competency to compile the information for the content of the books and then to pass the work over to me to complete. I also knew I could count on Tracy for a qualified opinion on the design of the order forms and marketing approach. She helped with the envelope stuffing for the bulk mailing. Our mailing consisted of 2 pages, which told about our organization and details of the 4 books. We included a 3rd page, which was the order form. We ran ads in mental disability consumer organizations. We did workshops at mental health conferences. We set out the 3 pages for people to pick up and send in with their order form later. We received a steady stream of orders for about 4 months. Most people who sent in an order wanted the Stress Kit workbook and maybe other of our books. There were enough sales to pay us for what we thought was fair for our effort. Chris Henderson was now the director of the Bureau of Community Mental Health. I went in and talked to him, and he told me to give away the rest of the books. We sent a copy of each book to Girls in Boys Town. Trace and I thought that Girls in Boys Town could benefit greatly from the information in the books. I did a stress workshop again at the next Wisconsin Mental Health Consumer Conference. Tracy did a workshop on Americans with Disabilities, which is another topic we were writing on. We felt we had saturated the market and did not have other books to do, so we put things on hold. We plan on updating the books with current information in a few years. Tracy had ill health and died. I did not go any further with this project since she was the information gatherer. I was not sure how to do the work. It was a team effort that could not go on without all team members. Over the many years I worked in the mental health grassroots movement, I encountered many great cooperative efforts with many mental health consumer leaders and many state and local government representatives, which was very enriching. They always appeared to want my contribution. Some activities met with limited success, although I always thought no matter how limited, they still meant a lot to some people. Other activities met with great success for a few years. I learned, much to my surprise, that there was much dispute and backstabbing in the grassroots movement, which is an ongoing problem for the movement. When I moved to the Wisconsin Dells area to be close to parents, I had come a long way from being naive. I had learned that creative people are like my dad before the Alzheimer's. I realized that the Alzheimer's had been developing over time, which explained his complexity. I had also decided that Dad was the way he was, and so what? He was Dad. When I moved, I was evaluated to see if I still had a disability. The doctor asked me if I thought I was still disabled. I told him I thought I could go back to work. My Social Security disability payments were discontinued. I then went back to work full time with medical insurance to pay for my medications. Months later, through Cordial Limited, I funded an updated version of the Wisconsin Mental Health Services Resource Guide, which was successful.